Cheating in football is way crazier than you think. From Maradona's Hand of God to Suarez, who literally bit opponents, and even scandals that rocked entire leagues, this is football's wildest and most infamous cheating stories. Buckle up because some of these are straight up unbelievable. Wait until you hear what North Korea did in 2010. Let's kick things off with the poster boy for cheating, Diego Maradona. If you're a true football fan, you've probably heard of the Hand of God, right? It happened in 1986 at the World Cup quarterfinal. The match was Argentina versus England. Diego Maradona was already a beast with the ball, but what he pulled off that day was straight-up criminal genius. What happened was a high ball came down in the box. He went up for it, but instead of heading it, he just punched it with his hand. It was clear as day, except the referee didn't see it. The linesman didn't call it, and the goal stood. After the match, Maradona called it the Hand of God. I can't believe the audacity. In the same game, he also scored what people called the goal of the century, dribbling half the England team like they were traffic cones. But that handball, that was the moment that defined him. It was brilliant and cunning all at once. That goal changed the match. Argentina went on to win the World Cup and England went home. And the world got its most iconic example of football cheating in broad daylight. Then there was Luis Suarez. If Maradona used his hand, Suarez used his teeth, repeatedly. The first time I watched him do it, I thought, no way. But it wasn't just once. In 2010, Uruguay was playing Ghana in the World Cup quarterfinals. Ghana had a last-minute header on goal, and Suarez blocked it with his hand on the goal line. It was blatant. He got a red card, sure, but then Asamoah missed the penalty, and Suarez celebrated from the tunnel like he'd scored the winner. Uruguay reached the semis, but that was just the beginning. In 2013, Suarez, now at Liverpool, bit Chelsea's Branislav Ivanovic on the arm. Yeah, you heard me. He just casually took a chunk out of the guy, and he got banned for 10 matches. It doesn't end there. In 2014 at the World Cup, he did it again. This time, Giorgio Chiellini was the victim. On the biggest stage in football, Suarez bit a defender again. FIFA slapped him with a 4-month ban from all football activity. I'd never seen anything like it. 3 bites in 4 years. I wasn't even mad. I was just shocked someone thought this was a thing they could do in an international match. That wasn't the first time players cheated at an international match. Remember Thierry Henry's handball versus Ireland? Now this one still hurts the Irish fans to date, and honestly, I don't blame them. It was 2009 at the World Cup qualifying playoffs, and France needed a result against the Republic of Ireland to qualify. Late in the second leg, with everything on the line, Thierry Henry controlled the ball with his hand not once but twice before passing it across for the winning goal. Replay showed it clearly. He handled the ball to keep it in play. It was as obvious as it gets, and the Irish players surrounded the referee. The fans were furious, but the goal stood. France qualified, Ireland didn't, and Henry, he later admitted he handled the ball. Even said a replay system would have shown the truth, but at the time, VAR didn't exist. So France went to the World Cup, and Ireland was left with nothing but rage and a YouTube highlight clip that still haunts them to this day. But no story was as far-reaching and systematically corrupt as what I saw unfold in Italy in 2006. The Calciopoli scandal didn't just involve player cheating. It exposed the whole network of corruption at the very core of Italian football. Top clubs like Juventus, AC Milan, Fiorentina, and Lazio were all caught up in it. Wiretaps revealed the club executives were calling referees to influence who officiated their matches. They didn't just bribe. They manipulated referee assignments so they'd get more favorable treatment. Juventus was stripped of their Serie A titles from 2005 and 2006 and was relegated to Serie B. Talk about a massive fall from grace. Some club officials were banned, while others resigned in disgrace. The scandal rocked Italian football to its core, and even though the game recovered, the stain of Calciopoli never really faded. Then there was the wildest football con artist I've ever heard of, Carlos Enrique Raposo, known as Carlos Kaiser. This dude made a career out of professional football without ever playing. No, seriously. In the 1980s and early 90s, Kaiser signed contracts with multiple Brazilian clubs and didn't play a single competitive game. He faked injuries, befriended journalists to write fake praise pieces, and even used toy mobile phones to pretend he was negotiating with European clubs. Keep in mind, this is at a time when nobody in Brazil even had a real cell phone. He'd pull a muscle during warm-ups, start a fight to get sent off before he could get subbed in, or just flat-out disappear. He was one of football's greatest imposters, and somehow he kept the scam going for over a decade. It was the kind of story I thought had to be fake, but it wasn't. The man conned people for over a decade. And who else remembers the rumor that Jose Mourinho's Porto fixed several games? This one lived more in the shadows of speculation, but it always came up in deep dive forums. Before Marino became the special one, his Porto team of 2003-2004 was accused of cutting corners and benefiting from suspicious refereeing decisions, especially in domestic competitions. While UEFA never found hard evidence, whispers of favor swapping and officiating biases followed the team. I can't call it confirmed cheating, but when I saw the unusually generous red cards for opponents and the weirdly consistent penalties for Porto, it didn't take a conspiracy theorist to raise an eyebrow. Sometimes the cheating wasn't loud, sometimes it was just oddly quiet. And then there were the bizarre ones, like Brazil's infamous Medicine Man case in 1982. So in a local match, the Brazilian team Ferroviário was losing to local rivals. Suddenly, the team's so-called spiritual advisor ran onto the pitch mid-match and buried something near the goalpost. Minutes later, the opposing team's goalkeeper started convulsing on the ground. He had to be carried off on a stretcher. No one proved what was buried or what happened, but Ferroviário went on to win. And the story of the mysterious black magic medicine man became a football legend. Was it cheating? Probably. Witchcraft? Maybe, but it worked. Another strange incident like that was before the 2010 World Cup, when North Korea announced they'd be training in a private gym to prepare. But that gym was actually a public sports center with no grass, no full pitch, and definitely not equipped for elite-level football training. It got weirder when they allegedly registered a striker as a goalkeeper just so they could have an extra outfield player. FIFA rules allowed only 3 keepers in a squad, but North Korea tried to game the system by pretending this one striker was a backup goalie, but they never used him in the net. I don't know whether to call that creative or desperate, but it made me laugh out loud when I heard it. Funny enough, this wasn't the only time our country would try to cheat. Qatar had been accused multiple times of fielding overage players in youth tournaments. In 2014, during the AFC U19 Championship, questions were raised about the ages of several players because their birth certificates didn't match, and documents allegedly showed signs of alteration. Nothing ever stuck officially, but rumors swirled, and as Qatar ramped up its football presence before hosting the 2022 World Cup, I keep wondering how much of their youth success was built on real development and how much on creative paperwork. And oh, let's not forget that one time Rivaldo faked an injury. This one still makes me cringe. It was the 2002 World Cup between Brazil and Turkey. Late in the match, Turkish defender Hakan Ünsal kicked the ball toward Rivaldo, who was standing near the corner flag. It hit him square in the thigh, but Rivaldo dropped like he'd been shot in the face. Clutched his head, rolled around, and got Ünsal sent off. The replay exposed him, though. It was ball to thigh, not head. FIFA fined Rivaldo after the match, but the red card stood. Brazil, of course, went on to win the tournament. You see, as much as I love football, I gotta admit, cheating's always been a part of it. Sometimes it was personal, sometimes it was systemic, and sometimes it was just plain weird. But in every case, it showed you just how far people were willing to go to win, or not to lose, or just to be remembered. And in a way, that's why these stories never died. Because while the goals faded and the trophies gathered dust, these moments became the stuff of football legend. If you like this video, there's a lot more where it came from. Just click that subscribe button and you have unlimited access to videos like this.